A lot of people are high on the Miami Dolphins in 2015, and they did get a win and cover as a road favorite in Week 1, but it was kind of a sluggish win and cover. They didn't really dominate. They did have some holes in their game, some apparent holes, and they will once again be a road favorite, a significant road favorite in Week 2 at Jacksonville. Right now, Miami is -6, and we will get analysis on this line from Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, longtime professional handicapper, and I, of course, am Peter Loshak. You're watching SBR Videos. Joe Duffy, I think we can agree that Miami has a significant talent edge over Jacksonville. The question is that talent edge enough to legitimize a bet on Miami as a road favorite of 6 points? What do you think?
No, you said, a lot of people are high on Miami. This is the third annual Miami Dolphins breakout season. People have been high on them for a while. And, I know when they got Mike Wallace, everyone said that was going to be the missing link. They just needed somebody to throw downfield. I've never been high on Tannehill. Again, I guess I'm going to have to use that term again, but he's probably about number 6 on my list of predictably unpredictable quarterbacks, and off of, a pretty impressive effort. I don't know if he's going to come
but he's been improving year to year, though. Wouldn't you agree with that, Joe?
It was 2 years ago that the metrics said that he was one of the best passers when it came to short range passing. But like I said, the missing link was going to be, could he throw deep? And he needed a deep receiver, and they got Mike Wallace, and that was going to be the solution. I mean, I guess slowly but surely he's shown some progress. He's shown that he's a decent NFL quarterback, but everybody keeps waiting for him to make the next step to being an elite quarterback, and we're still waiting. Of course, there are a lot of other quarterbacks that are in that category that we're still waiting. It seems that if he came up with a list of top half dozen quarterbacks in the NFL, they'd be the same as they were 3 years ago with, maybe Andrew Luck or somebody sneaking in there, a couple exceptions. But, yeah, sort of. But no, I'm not going to say emphatically that I agree with you by any stretch of the imagination. I do think the key here is Marquez Lee. Will he be healthy for Jacksonville? If he can come back into the lineup, Blake Bortles is one of he's a very poor man's Ryan Tannehill, or much like Tannehill was, where he was taking his lumps, but Bortles does show a little bit of potential. And again, the fact that Bortles was so terrible, I think if Lee plays, we can look for an improved effort from him at home. And I flat out had an offshore odds maker, a very big player, tell me that this line jumped up to 6, in part because the odds makers, the sports books are panicking a little bit. They took such a big bloodbath last week where the road favorites did well. And when early money came in on Miami, they overreacted a little bit. So this is a bit of an over-adjustment. And I'm going to have to take advantage of that and go with Jacksonville. The line's just a little bit too high, especially if the line stays at 6 and Lee is playing. I think Jacksonville will be a very good play.
Yeah, I mean, the Redskins had the ball for almost 40 minutes against Miami, and Miami, they got helped by special teams and defense, which is something that might not necessarily be likely to repeat. So are you going to give an official play on Jacksonville +6?
I will give an official play on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Interesting. So all their weaknesses, all their injuries, their offensive line that's probably not as good as advertised, that doesn't concern you. You still see them as a quality NFL team that that can at least hang within a number.
Well, if they didn't have any weaknesses, they wouldn't be a 6-point home dog to a team that's really, quite frankly, not a serious Super Bowl contender. But I do think, you have to take advantage of when there is an over-adjustment in the line. And, it's amazing how they're so willing to pay 20 cents just for a half point. Well, here you're really getting the free 2 points, that this should be about a 4-point spread. And, that's just a big over-adjustment. So I'm going to take advantage of a line that's really adjusted too much because of public perception and the fact that the public is so eager to bet those road favorites off a successful week in Week 1.
Sounds good, Joe. Awesome analysis. As always, give a well-deserved plug for OffshoreInsiders.com before we let you go.
29-16 going back to Week 2 of the preseason. Again, that's just what good old-fashioned metrics, computer software, and very hard work does. That's not out of the ordinary whatsoever. Been doing this since 1988, so 28 years of professional experience, really close to about 35, almost 40 years of experience handicapping at OffshoreInsiders.com.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Thank you, sir.